In today's video, I'm going to show you how to find all 78 milk molars inside of Grounded. These are pre-New Game Plus, meaning if you go into New Game Plus, none of these molars will appear, they will all have disappeared, and you won't be able to collect them anymore. But prior to New Game Plus, you need to collect all of these molars if you want to 100% the game, or just max out all of your character's stats. I've organized these by categories to try and make it as easy as possible for you to find them. A reminder that the map does actually show where all of the milk molars are, so you can see which ones you've collected and which ones you're missing as you're watching the guide. First off, we're starting in the lower yard, with the first one being under the giant plank here, just north of the big branch. You're going to want to follow me into the cave here. Now there is a wolf spider in here, however, if you come at nighttime, he should be out wandering, so he should not be in here. If you look around, you'll find yourself the milk molar. For the next molar in the lower yard, you want to come to this area here, under the decking by the house where the paint cans are. You're going to find yourself a wolf spider here, next to a milk molar. If you're careful, this guy should not wake up. However, sometimes he will, so just be prepared to fight him. For our third milk molar comes the oak tree here, and go to the north side of it, and you'll find a wolf spider, once again, sleeping right next to this milk molar. Again, I recommend killing it or coming at nighttime. For the fourth milk molar, you need to come inside of the oak lab here, where Burgle is, then follow the path I take out of the breakage in the lab, and around the back towards the abandoned red ant hill. You'll find right here up top is a milk molar. For our next molar, you want to come near the Franken line in the lower yard, and in this little puddle here, you'll find a milk molar hidden just along the wall where the upper yard is. Sticking with the theme, if you go to the upper yard ascent, right next to the last location, under the leaf right here, you go underneath, you'll find yourself a milk molar. Sticking along the same wall here, but on the opposite side of the pond now, if you go to the far north of the lower yard, right next to that remixer room where all the flowers are, you'll find yourself another milk molar. This one's kind of in the lower yard, kind of in the upper yard, but to get this one, I jump from the upper yard to the lower yard on the wall in the lower yard, so you can build up to this from the lower yard, or do what I did and jump down from upper. For our next molar, come by the oak lab once again and find this can by the oak tree. Go underneath the can and you'll find yourself a milk molar. Then, for our final milk molar in the lower yard, head to the east side, right next to the pagoda, go to the rocks nearby in the south by the squirts carton. You'll find yourself the milk molar along the edge of the wall here. Next, we're moving into the red ant hill. This is where it is on the map. I'm starting at the entrance because this is a pretty big spot. Apologies for the lag. This place was full of food, which was causing my game to literally die. Just follow the path that I take though, past all this food, and you'll find yourself a milk molar right here. Next up, we're moving into the hedge, with the first one being at the juice carton, which is nearby the hedge ascent. Once you first ascend into the hedge, follow the path that I take, climbing up these branches right here, and do a little bit of parkour on these leaves. Then take the jump that I do, and you'll get on top of the juice box where the milk molar can be found. For our second location, you want to come inside of the hedge lab right here. Then take this zip line twice, and once you get to the other side, you'll see there's an opened milk molar, which you don't even need a hammer for. Next, come to the top of the hedge lab here, and follow the path that I take, running up this sort of spiral plastic tubing. At the top, you'll find yourself the milk molar. Our next hedge location is actually underneath the hedge, but in the upper portion, just under the hedge lab. You're going to want to go inside of this piece of hedge lab that's fallen down here, and you'll find a milk molar nestled inside. Back up to the top of the hedge lab this time, you're actually going to want to follow these branches that I'm on here, and go up towards where you would find the broodmother recipe, but instead of going all the way up, we're going underneath on this branch right here to where this zip tie is, and you're going to find yourself the milk molar. Back to the beginning of the hedge now, we have another milk molar. For this one, it can be quite tough. You're going to need to do some parkour. First, walk up this red wire, then do a jump and pull your glider at the same time, and try and land on this little black corner. Now, if you can't do this, you can build up. However, doing it this way does save a lot of resources, so I would recommend practicing it a few times until you get it. Once you've landed on top of the socket right here, jump down onto the leaves, and then jump inside the protector on top of the molar. For the final molar in the hedge, go underneath the hedge right here into the bottom right corner of the map, and there's just a molar sitting here. Up next, we are in the pond. Starting off on top of the pond net right here, just follow the path that I take. I do recommend breathing gear, and you will need a tier 2 dagger or higher for this. For this one, head to the giant log right here, and then swim around, and on top of the log, you'll find yourself some roots, which you can chop to get the milk molar. For our next molar, we're once again starting on top of the pond here, on this lily pad right here with the flower. Then follow the path that I take into the pond and swim all the way down. The easiest way to tell where this one is it's where the big drop-off occurs in the pond down to the lower layers, so it's quite deep down. You'll find this cave, go inside all the way to the end, you'll find some more roots to chop, and you get yourself a milk molar. For the third molar inside of the pond, you actually need to be in the pond depths, and follow my path inside of the lab right here. This is where you would find one of the breakers to open up the pond lab. In the back here, you do find yourself a milk molar as well, so just chop through the roots and collect it. And then for our final milk molar in the pond, this one is going to be in the big cave. So you're going to swim down where I am right here. This will take you deep into a cave. You need a lot of oxygen for this. I highly recommend a bubble helmet. Once you get in the cave, just follow the path straight ahead to go even deeper into the cave. And as you're swimming through, you'll see some soggy roots that have a milk molar behind them. Just chop through these and grab the molar. Next, we are moving into the Haze, starting with this first location, which is in this ravine right here. You obviously don't need to plug the Haze for this, however, I did for the footage, just so it looks nicer. But if you haven't, you will need a gas mask. And then for the second and final molar in the Haze, come to the field station right here and then drop down into the ravine. As you can see very clearly, there is a milk molar right there. Go ahead and grab it. We're off to the picnic table now, starting underneath at the milk molar bottle. Shockingly, inside of the milk molar bottle, there is a milk molar. So you're going to follow the path and go inside, and it's right there at the bottom. Go ahead and grab it. And then for the second and final molar on top of the picnic table, come all the way to the top of the picnic table and jump into this yellow box right here. On top of the spork, you'll find yourself a milk molar. Next, we're going to the trash heap. For the first one, you want to go slightly away from the trash heap. I don't really know where to put this one. Just go down the back of the sandbox near the trash heap. You'll find yourself a milk molar. For our next one at the trash heap, you're going to need to climb inside of the trash can, go all the way up along the branch, go up the shovel here, and on top of the trash can, you'll find a milk molar is inside of this blue cup. And then for our final molar at the trash heap, come to this area here, right outside the Black Ant Hill. You'll find a giant pack of yoked girth, and behind it is a milk molar. Moving into the sandbox now, there is a single location for a milk molar here. You will need to build for this one to get to the top of the sand castle. I recommend clover ramps from getting stuff in the oasis area of the sandbox. That's the easiest way to do it, or bring clay. Next up, we're moving into the Black Ant Hill, and for this one, we're at the bottom of the hill where all of the ants and soldiers spawn. Then just turn around and find this cracked rock right here, blow it up and go past it, and you'll find yourself the milk molar. And then for the second and final molar inside of this area, again, we're all the way at the bottom of the Black Ant Hill where all the soldiers and stuff spawn. Go to the left through this door, you'll find yourself the milk molar. Moving into the upper yard now, and this is where we have a lot of locations. For the first one, I need you to come to the charcoal bag right here and head inside. As you can see, there is a milk molar in the corner here. Be careful of getting sizzled, but do remember to collect it. For our next molar, head to this area of the upper yard here by the hamster skeleton and head into this cave. This is quite a long path in this cave, but once you've gotten deep enough, just keep walking around following the ramp and you'll find a big red ball. You're going to go ahead and bonk the ball. Recommended to use a tier 3 tool here. It can be quite hard to get this ball to move if you don't have one. Just keep bonking the ball until it falls down into this area right here. It's pretty hard to mess this one up, but you are going to have to jump on top of said ball and do some crazy parkour in order to get to the molar. It can be a little complicated, especially if you're playing on your own. If you're playing 2-player, get your friends to hit the ball for you while you're standing on it. But if you're playing single player, it's a little more complicated and difficult to get to. You can parkour from the area where the 2 tier 3 rocks are, however that is pretty difficult to do. So if you're playing solo, I recommend you do what I do here, which is kind of line the ball up ahead of time and get it where you want to be so that you can parkour from the ledge onto the ball and then onto the other ledge, because it can be quite complicated. Collect the Milk Molar. For our next molar, you want to come to this area of the map here where all the mushrooms are, and there's an exposed pipe. Go into the pipe and use a tier 3 axe to chop through the roots. Then throw a bomb or shoot a bomb arrow at this cracked rock over here and follow the path I take down the ramp into the water. As you're swimming through the water, you'll find an opening, swim up through that and jump. If the cracked rock has been broken, you'll be able to get into this cave right here and collect the Milk Molar inside. For our next set of molars, we probably have the best location on the entire map. You want to find this little Milk Molar bottle cap right here and then drop down and cut through the tier 3 dead roots. You'll find a skeleton with some items. Go past the skeleton, and inside of the Milk Molar bottle, you'll find 5 milk molars. This is probably the best location in the game. I recommend you get this one as soon as possible, because 5 molars is absolutely huge. For the next molar, you want to head to the south of the upper yard right here, where the big pile of rocks is. In this room right here, you'll find 2 black ox beetles, but you'll also find yourself a milk molar. Next, slightly further north of Moldorc now, we have another milk molar. For this one, you're gonna have to parkour. It can be pretty complex to get to, but if you follow the path that I take, you shouldn't have too difficult of a time. You could also build to get to this one. You do have to watch out for the wasps, because they are a pain to avoid, let me tell you. But if you've chopped down the nest ahead of time, you can remove them and then just follow the path that I take. A little bit of difficult parkour. It might take a few attempts with the leaves and stuff. You can be glitching all over the place. But just in the branches right here, you will find yourself the Milk Molar. For our next molar, we are by the Java Matic in the top left of the upper yard almost, before the Undershed. And behind this leaf right here, you'll find they've hidden another Milk Molar. For our next molar, head under the shed decking right here. And on the right side, you'll find the Milk Molar. If you've plugged the Haze, then an infected wolf spider will spawn here. So I recommend getting this one before you do that. For our next molar, come to this area of the upper yard right here, and you'll find a cracked rock in the ground. Break the cracked rock using a bomb, and then you'll see a Milk Molar up above. Now, you can drop down into the cave and fight the Black Widow in order to get this molar. Another trick I usually use is collecting weed stems and jamming them into the wall right where the molar is, so you can jump on them and climb up to be able to get to this one without fighting the Widow. But either way, you can still get the molar. For our next Milk Molar, come to this area right here, right near the BBQ. We're going into the ravine. As you can see, there is a broken pipe. Just jump and glide inside of that crack in the broken pipe, and you'll find yourself the Milk Molar is right there. Sticking in the ravine as before, right where we are right here, just come to this area, you'll see a little mint box, follow the path that I take up this ramp, then jump on these roots right here onto the bit of dirt on the other side, around the corner here, drop down, and then you'll find yourself the Milk Molar. Switching sides of the upper yard now, we're on top of the wheelbarrow. For this one, you can either parkour all the way up here along the poison ivy on the wall, or you can just build up. Then, after all that work, jump all the way down onto the side of the wheelbarrow, and you'll find yourself a Milk Molar. For our next molar, we're in the far north side, underneath the ladder right here. Just come into one of the rungs in the gaps, and you'll find yourself a Milk Molar. Sticking near the ladder, we have a plant pot on the ground right here that has been tipped over. If you head inside of this plant pot and jump through the hole, you'll find there's another plant pot here with a Milk Molar inside of it. For our next one, we're right by the toolbox here. You're going to want to climb up into the toolbox like I am doing here, and it's going to require a little bit of maneuvering and parkour. You've also got to watch out, there's a lot of enemies in this area that can attack you, especially the wasps. Get to the top of the toolbox, the top drawer, and you'll find at the back that there is a Milk Molar. For our next molar, you want to get on top of the ladder right here. I recommend doing this by climbing up the lawnmower and then running up the handles of the lawnmower. Then jump off the ladder and pull your glider. Underneath, you'll find on this specific rung right here that there is a molar at the top. For our next molar, come to this fallen piece of stump right here, and then follow the path that I take. This is similar to one of the megas from the last video. You just do the same parkour to get around and up top here, just past these mushrooms, following the path that I take. This parkour is relatively simple. You shouldn't have too many troubles here. Go past the moth. It won't attack you. It's friendly. And just try and stay on top of this bit of broken wood right here. Then go for a full sprinting jump and pull your glider at the peak of your jump so that you can land on this bit of wood right here. Jump up to the left and you should be able to get on top of this giant bit of stump right here. And if you follow the path I take, underneath this little piece of bark right here, you'll find yourself a milk molar. For our next molar, come to the giant tire in the upper yard. And then just literally at the foot of the tire, there's a milk molar chilling out. So just go ahead and grab it. And then for the final two molars in the upper yard, you want to head inside of the giant tire. You need the sticky key for this. And in order to get that sticky key, you're going to have to head to the top right of the map, parkouring up or running up, and then use a tier 2 shovel to break the gum and collect the key. Then open up the chest using the key, and inside you'll find 2 milk molars. For the first molar at the Termite Hill, you're going to want to parkour up the leaves right here on this plant. If you parkour all the way to the top of these leaves, you will be able to get on top of the bike right here. Then run up the side of the bike until you get to a little intersection and then drop through the gap in the intersection down to the pedals of the bike. You'll find yourself the milk molar is right here. For the next molar at the Termite Hill, come to the top of the Termite Hill where the blue tarp is and run underneath the blue tarp. You'll find an area with a bunch of web sacks and a milk molar. Then for the final molar inside of the Termite Hill, you actually need to go into the hill itself and go through this passageway right here and turn to the right. Go all the way down, take another right, and as you'll see, there's nowhere else to go. There's only one way to follow. You'll find the milk molar is at the end of the path. Next up, we're moving into the Ladybird Larva Cave. For the entrance of this, come to the area that I'm at on the map right here, and you might have to fight some ladybirds to get inside. There are a lot of ladybird larvae in this cave, so be prepared to fight them before you go in. They're one of the most deadly enemies in the game. Head deep into this cave and then parkour up onto these ledges right here, and you'll find a milk molar. For the second one in the Ladybird Lava Cave, I'm taking the other entrance to the cave, which is by the field station, just to make it nice and easy so you know where I'm at. Follow the path that I take, going all the way in, take a sharp right, and you'll find a milk molar among a bunch of quartzite rocks. Next, we're heading to the Fire Ant Hill. We have 2 molar locations here. For the first one, you need to jump from the top all the way down into the Fire Ant Hill, and you can see the molar as you're dropping down on this rock. Pull your glider and then drop right on top of it and grab this milk molar. For the next one, I recommend coming in through the Jungle Ant Hill entrance right here where the big Yogi Swole guy is. Follow the path that I take, going down all the way into the Fire Ant Hill. Then, if you keep going straight, you'll find a piece of gum, and up above on a branch, there is the milk molar that you're looking for. Next up, we're at the Stump area of the map, and if you come to where I am right here, just north of the field station, on top of this bit of wood, you'll literally find a milk molar. For the second molar in the Stump, you're going to need to have defeated the assistant manager to unlock the Stump Lab. We're going to head inside the lab here and just follow where I go, parkouring across, and then you need to go all the way up to the top of the lab as if you were completing the Stump Lab, and at the intersection here, you'll find yourself the milk molar. And for the final molar, we need to go up the stump here. So come to this area right here and run up on the branch that I do. This is a root, I guess, more than a branch, and come all the way up to the top of the stump. This one will require a bit more finesse and a bit more parkour. Psych, just jump over the top and drop down. And the molar's right there, just jump on its head and bonk it. Up next, we're off to Castle Moldorc. For the first one, we're actually sticking by the rocks just before you get to Castle Moldorc. Drop down into this gap right here. You'll have a Scabby, and you'll have the Milk Molar, which you're looking for. For the next one, we're actually on Moldorc Castle itself. Climb all the way up the stairs around the outside of the castle, and then do some additional parkour to get on top of the roof of the castle right here, and you'll find a Milk Molar just chilling. And then for the final molar at Moldorc Castle, we actually need to head inside of Moldorc Castle itself and drop down. Once inside, you'll see that there is a big piece of lab. If you go around the side of the lab to where it kind of curves, you'll find there's a little molar tucked away there. And this is the last one at Moldorc Castle. Next up, we're in the Undershed area of the map. For the first one, we're at the start of the entrance to the Undershed. Just follow the path that I take and jump across here onto this wooden pillar area, and you'll find the first molar. For the next molar, come to the middle of the Undershed here on the map, and drop into this ravine here, and at the back you'll find yourself a Milk Molar. For our next molar, you want to come to the far side of the Undershed near the lab itself, and then head backwards, and at the far north side of the map, you will find a Milk Molar. For our next molar, we're right by the lab once again. You're going to want to go backwards yet again, except we're going to the right this time, and then you'll find a molar on another one of these wooden pillars. And then, for our final molar in the Undershed, come once again to the entrance to the Undershed lab, and go up this big plank of wood right here. Then, jump to the left onto this other plank of wood, and at the top, along with a few widowlings, you'll find a Milk Molar. For the final area of the map, we have the Brawny Boy bin. You obviously need to annoy the wasps in order to get into here. Go ahead and go inside, and then jump up and turn around. Go behind the PC right here, and you'll find yourself the first of 4 Milk Molars in this location. For the next molar, I recommend you climb up the Haze T arm right here so that we can head deeper into the Brawny Boy bin. Then go underneath the Haze T and do some parkour. Now this parkour can be a little tricky. This molar was moved. It used to be on top of the Haze T's head. Now it's inside of the Haze T itself. You got to jump up and get to this Milk Molar and then break it with your hammer. For the third molar in this location, you want to go down to where this big joystick is, and then down to the right, you'll find the molar between the games and the cardboard box. And then for the final Milk Molar, you need to come to the back of the Brawny Boy bin where the Black Widow spawns. You're going to need to kill the Widow and then collect the molar behind her for all Milk Molars in the game. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like on it. I will see you in the next Grounded video. Have a great rest of your day.